This isn't a 2002, Kia Spectra. It is the second worst car ever manufactured in the entire history of the automobile. It's only second worst because of this, Audi ALLROAD, which is truly the worst car in the history of the automobile. And today, I'm gonna put both of these cars out of their misery by running them over with this, my Audi ALLROAD. Now, before we get started here, let's discuss what exactly made these cars so bad, starting with the ALLROAD. Now, back in 2003, when this thing was new, the failure rate started at $41,000, which is almost $50,000 today. It had leather upholstery, it had memory settings for the interior, it had a power sunroof, it had heated rear seats, it had dual zone automatic climate control. And yet, it was horrible. The first problem with the ALLROAD is up here, the engine. Now, most of the ALLROADs used a 2-liter twin turbocharged V6, which sounds really cool, except that the way it was designed, you had to remove basically the entire front of the car in order to change the time. Also, the turbochargers were constantly failing, requiring thousands of dollars to fix. German engineering. Next up, the transmission. Audi's wonderful Tiptronic couldn't handle the ALLROAD's massive 2 horsepower, and so the Tiptronic rate in these cars is 100%, requiring thousands of dollars to replace the transmission, which will fail again later. German engineering. Next. This particular ALLROAD also had another problem. Does this car have a green interior?
And exterior.
The seats are green. The door panels are green. The dashboard, the A-pillars, and the headliner is green. This car has a green interior, doesn't it?
So's your shirt.
My shirt's gray.
And green.
This is heinous! The Kia, meanwhile, belongs to my friend Filippo. You may remember this car because I created a video about it last year. There's this dent, there's this dent, there's this scrape, and this scrape.
This car is so bad that Filippo one time went on the Edmunds.com trade-in value tool to see what it was worth, and he put in all the specifics, and the trade-in value was -$39. -$39.
Rather than accept that generous payout of -$39, Filippo abandoned this Kia on the street in West Philadelphia a year ago with the key inside and the door unlocked. It was still sitting there a couple of weeks ago after a year, admittedly with the windshield bashed in, when we decided that it was time to do something useful with it, namely crush it.
Audi ALLROAD.
And now, with that out of the way, I'm going to tow the Kia over to where the ALLROAD is. I've hooked up my tow strap. Time to do it. Well, that's a shame, really. Now, before I crush these two cars, I've decided to put them through a series of highly technical, thorough scientific tests. For example, I've always kind of wondered what would happen if you hooked a tow strap up to a car's steering wheel and then tried to pull it. So today, figure, why not find out? And so, with the tow strap fastened to the steering wheel, I backed my Range Rover into place. And then I went for it. Initially, it seemed like nothing much had happened, but on closer investigation of the steering wheel, look at this. Steering wheels are insanely tough, and this isn't easy to do, but now this one had a hole in it. In fact, it seemed like the entire steering column had been destroyed by the force of this pull. Then it was time for the next scientific test.
Hayır, bu üzmüyor nazaket olmayan aradan number for naked edits then always see me such naked. After me, he'd done himself, but it's got better for the dish you sound, he's no. Still, I always thought. Very, we're both, but I like me, but I rock.
Well, this is a good angle in case you've ever wanted to see what the underside of an Audi ALLROAD looks like. But if you want a better look, here you go.
Next up, I've always wondered what happens if you slash the tires with a giant knife. So, let's find out. Wow. That, I guess. Interestingly, the tire slashing was functional. I needed to slash the front tires to lower the Kia and the Audi in order to make it easier for the Defender to climb up. So... Alright, last one for Kia. And then it was time for the final test. Alright, our next test, we have a nice sledgehammer, which is important when you're doing automobile testing. And David here, my friend David, he owns Automobili Limited, the place where we're doing all this. This is my friend Filippo, and we are gonna see who can hit the largest dent with the sledgehammer into the side of the ALLROAD. You guys ready? Yes, ready. Alright. David took the sledgehammer first. Alright, you get one shot because we want one dent from each person, so you only have one try. You ready? Alright, bring it on. Very good. Well done. Filippo was up next with the sledgehammer. Alright, you ready? Yeah. It is. So you get only one shot again. Yeah. Ready? Okay. That was pretty good. These are fairly similar. Then it was my turn. Alright, now it's my turn, but I have a secret weapon. I'm not gonna use the sledgehammer. I'm gonna use my car. Ha ha! Ha ha!
Cinder blocks. With the blocks in place as a sort of stair step to getting on the ALLROAD, I tried it one last time. The Defender made it, and since you've come this far in this video, you should probably see it from a few other angles. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the Defender is a hero. It has rid the world of the unreliability and the general awfulness of the ALLROAD and the Kia. Nice going, buddy. After a few minutes and a lot of pictures, I backed the Defender up, down the Kia and the ALLROAD very carefully, and the crush was complete. It was back on solid ground, and the Kia and the ALLROAD would be hauled off the next day to the salvage yard. On the way home, I noticed the Defender's air conditioning wasn't working. Maybe the ALLROAD's unreliability was contagious.